Hey, it's Fitz, and if you don't know who I am, here's a quick bio. I'm a veteran sports journalist who writes, does TV, radio, daily YouTube videos, and I'm a longtime podcaster. Also, I have metastatic stage 4 prostate cancer that came out of remission in 2023. During the pandemic, my doctors advised me to stay at home, and the Life of Fitz podcast was born. 5 years later, I'm back in my cancer battle and continuing this podcast with season 6. As I call the many people I've met through my 35 years in sports journalism, and those who are involved in my cancer journey. Plus, we'll add in a few friends we've met along the way who are facing their own obstacles in life. Welcome to my life and the Life of Fitz podcast. Presented by the great people at Blueville Nursery in Manhattan. I'd imagine being married to an Olympic gold medalist comes with some positive and some negatives. But what if both members of that marriage have Olympic gold medals? Well, that's the story of Hunter and Tara Woodhall, who have moved to Manhattan, Kansas to be part of the new Kansas State track and field coaching staff and to train here on a world level. It's a pretty cool story. These two met when they were young. They knew it was real from day one. They went through the long distance relationships as one competed in track at Georgia, then Texas. That's Tara. And then he competed in track at Arkansas. There's a catch here. Hunter Woodhall has no feet. His lower legs and feet were removed before he was 1 year old. So he's a Paralympian, although he ran college track at Arkansas, which I didn't know you were able to do. It was allowed or whatever you want to say. It's pretty cool. But competing at Arkansas while his girlfriend's at Texas couldn't have been easy. And this last summer, they stepped on the world stage. Both had been there. Both had competed in Olympics and medaled in the case of Hunter, but this was different. This was the Paris Olympics, 2024. And Tara Davis-Woodhall is one of the great Olympic long jumpers of our generation. And in Paris, she was pure gold. The highlights of her winning that gold medal, celebrating with her husband in the stands, are remarkable. And about a month later, still in Paris, it was Hunter's opportunity to win a gold medal in the 400 meters. A sprint, if you want to call it that, that is, well, not easy. Trying to go full bore for 400 meters is a task, but he did it. And he did it the best of anyone else in the world, also winning a gold medal. And then they returned to their new life in Manhattan, Kansas. Originally, I was hoping to get both of them on Life of Fitz together, but it worked out fine that Hunter was the only one available for the show, and I really enjoyed him. Now, if you're not familiar with these two, you want to go check their social media out. Throughout this show, I'm going to drop in some clips because I couldn't get Hunter for quite as long as I like for one of our episodes. But we're going to drop in some feel here so you get to know them because they're remarkable. They put off such incredible positive energy. You just kind of gravitate to them. They're a really cool couple. They're happy. They live life to the fullest, and they train their butts off. Now doing most of that at the Kansas State track and field facilities where they train together. So let's cut to the chase now and go to Hunter Woodhall's new home with his wife, Tara, in Wamego, Kansas. Didn't know they moved to Wamego, but let's go talk to him right now. And now we bring in Hunter Woodhall. And I did not realize he lives in Wamego.
Yeah.
Why did you and Tara settle in Wamego, which I love? I love Wamego. It's great on the 4th of July, certainly. But
yeah,
you chose I guess it's not that big a road trip, but people in Kansas think it could be.
No, it's not bad at all. It's a nice, easy drive. And when we were in Fayetteville, we live like right in the middle of the city. So we kind of wanted to quiet down a little bit and have a little bit of our own space. And our coach lives just right around the corner, so it makes it easy for that.
So you're never away from that.
No.
Just drop in and start doing some coaching.
Exactly. Yeah. Nor would we want to be. It's good stuff.
Well, let's go back. And I'm intrigued by how do I say this? this disability. So this was something you were born with or short after?
Yeah, I had a birth defect called fibular hemimelia, which
Uh-huh.
essentially means I didn't have a fibula bone in either of my legs, and my ankle was fused. So there's a lot of different things going on. And through talking to a bunch of different doctors and specialists, my parents had a lot of different opinions on what they should do. And then, when I was getting closer to a year old, they found the folks at Shriners Hospitals for Children, and they're actually the ones who recommended amputation. So when I was 11 months old, had both of my feet amputated through the ankles, and the rest is kind of history.
I guess the advantage is you didn't really know any different. I mean,
Yeah, and that's the positive to that timing. It's about the time when you're learning how to walk anyway, so it gives you a bit of a learning
feet help.
advantage. Yeah,
when you learn how to walk, feet are. Yeah, I don't even do so well with feet.
yeah.
That had to be a horrific decision, a difficult decision for your parents. Have you talked about that much in retrospect?
Yeah, absolutely. I think just through a lot of the things, just how they made the decision, and they talk a lot about the family and friends and people they had around in their circle, and their church family, and just kind of the people who helped guide them through that difficult decision. And it's one of those things. I think parents face hard decisions all the time. I think we all do, and
Yep.
that's one of those decisions where you don't really know what the right answer is until you're looking at it in retrospect. So difficult, and I can't imagine how hard it was to make that decision.
Mhm.
But looking back, I'm obviously so grateful that that's what they decided to do.
Yeah, it's worked out pretty well. But take me through that childhood, being the kid who doesn't look like everyone else physically. It couldn't have been easy.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, kids can be really mean, and they have no problem saying hard things and mean things, and pointing out the kids who look a little different. I actually was homeschooled until fifth grade a little bit because we moved a lot, and a little bit because I think my parents were kind of protecting me from that. But in fifth grade, I went to school with everyone else, and learned some hard lessons in the world that I am different. And it was challenging. And a lot of times as a kid, I would just ask myself, why me? Like, why am I the one dealing with this? But, we keep talking about retrospect. And now when I look back, I'm like, wow, I learned so many important lessons, and I went through so many hard things that have taught me so much about being an adult, being a good person, having empathy, and just seeing people for more than, their physical attributes or the cards that they were dealt.
When did you go to the blades?
I got my first pair of blades. Actually, so I started running 5Ks with my family just on my normal walking prosthetics, which was extremely difficult. Like, it's similar to maybe walking around in a medical boot. Like, there's not
Mhm.
really a lot of movement, but
Yep.
I love the idea of running and spending time with my family and just having fun. And so as I ran a few of those, I was like, this is really difficult. I had seen Oscar running in the Olympics and in that world, and we kind of figured out what blades were. So we went back to Shriners Hospital for Children, where I was still getting treatment, and we're like, hey, we want to try these blades out. And they had never made a pair of running blades at the hospital or any of the hospitals in the United States. And without any promise of me being, a great runner or even really picking up a knack for this thing, they're like, yeah, let's do it. Let's take a chance on this kid. So they made the first ever pair of running prosthetics. I was, like I said, 10, 11 years old. And I remember just like sprinting through the hallways of the hospital and going out front in the parking lot and just running around. And it was a sense of like freedom that I just had never experienced in my life. So it was so different. And I just fell so deeply in love with running. And as I got older, like I just kept gravitating more and more towards running and track and field, and kind of away from all the other sports that I was, engaged in.
Plus, they're kind of badass.
Yeah.
So you went and ran college. You were the first
Yep.
runner on blades to get a scholarship. That's amazing. I didn't even know they did that. I didn't know in the NCAA you compete with normal athletes and not a
I
pair.
don't think anybody knew until I did it. So I didn't even know. It was a challenge to get in there, but we knew there had been blade runners running in the able-bodied scene before, and there is the research to prove that it's acceptable. And there was a lot of roadblocks and red tape and all of these questions we had to answer, but it was one of my biggest dreams. So there's nothing going to get in the way of stopping that.
That's incredible. Is there, the research, does it show, well, how does it show comparative speeds, I guess is what I'm asking. It's you would never know what your actual speed would be, so I don't know what to compare it to, but
Yeah, it's a tough question. It's like,
uh-huh.
the question is always like, do you have an advantage over everyone else? Which is like a silly question, because it's like asking Usain Bolt, does he have an advantage? Like the answer is yes. That's why he's faster. So
Yeah.
the question is not, do you have an advantage over everyone else? Is, do you have an advantage over yourself if you
Yeah.
have legs? And I mean, the research it shows that there's not a discernible advantage one way or the other, but my answer has always been there are advantages and there are disadvantages. And where those weigh out, I have no idea. But what I do know is that I like to run and I like to compete, and all I'm asking for is a lane to compete in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in para sport, there's not a lot of opportunities to go and compete. And for me, it was like I either don't compete or I find a way to compete with everybody else. So yeah, I don't really know the answer, but I've ran really slow and I've ran really fast, and it's all kind of up in the air. I don't know.
Well, I've only run slow in my life. But this is just fascinates me. So when did you kind of transition then into international competition? And I imagine there's more of a community of that than just nationally.
Yeah. So like I said, 10, 11, I got my first pair of running blades. And then when I got to junior high, I joined the track team there. I had two friends who were on the track team, and it was something I really enjoyed and felt like I could be myself. And to start, I was really not competitive at all, like very back of the pack. And that kind of gave me the mentality of like, it's not me versus all these other people. It's just me versus myself. Like, how much better can I get? How can I improve? What things can I do to keep the momentum going in the right direction? And by the time I got to high school, I started to get more competitive on an able-bodied level, and that's also where I started competing internationally. So my first international competition was in 2015 at the Para World Championships in Doha. And I went out there and competed really well. Other than qualifying for that, it was really my first time competing in para sport. Up until then, I had only competed in able body. So it was really cool. Yeah, like you said, to see the community and see the people and see the level of competition, which I just hadn't really experienced before. And it was great timing because the next year was the Rio Paralympics in 2016. So it was a really good segue, kind of introducing me to the international competition scene.
And then 2020, you medaled, correct?
I medaled all three Paralympics. So in
You did?
Rio, I won a silver and a bronze. In Tokyo, very tough Paralympics, so it came home with a bronze. And then in Paris, obviously went really well with the gold and bronze.
So that was over before Tara did her Olympics, right? The para was before or after?
It's after. So the Paralympics happens 2 weeks after the conclusion of the Olympics. So it's
I had
always
that backwards. So, well, take me to the moment then when she's jumping for the gold.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to be more nerve-wracking than when you're competing.
Yeah, it's tough. Our coach always talks about like the levels of competition and the levels of control. And it's like, starts with the athlete. The athlete has the most control. They're the ones in the driver's seat. Second is the coach, because they have input. So they have the second amount of control, but a lot less. And then third is me or any of her family or spectators. You just have to sit and watch. So it's definitely the hardest to be a spectator and watching, because you just have no control. But in Paris specifically, Tara and I train together, we eat together, we do everything the exact same. And I had seen all the work that she had put in leading up to that. And although there was quite a few challenges that she faced getting to that, I just knew that she was ready physically, mentally. So we kind of went in with no expectations. We said, let's go there. We've done the things we need to do. Let's give it our best shot. And whatever the result ends up being, like, it is what it is. And the result was really good, but it could have went anyway, Well,
let's back up to when you two met. I think I saw Tara on a video describe that. I want to hear it from you. How did this go down? Did she really just walk up to you?
Yeah, she did. Crazy as it sounds. We were at a track meet in Pocatello, Idaho, called the Simplot Games. This is back when we were seniors in high school.
Interesting.
And at the time, I was living in Salt Lake City, and she was living in Los Angeles. So Idaho was kind of like the middle ground for that. And yeah, from my perspective, like I had seen her before. I knew who Tara was. She was very like high, media, very well-known athlete on the national stage in track and field. And I told my friend Tucker, like when we got to the meet, I pointed at her. I was like, "You see that girl?" And he's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I'm gonna marry that girl one day." Before anything started, he was like, "Yeah, right, whatever, buddy." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And then I'm getting ready for my race. I run my race, and I just finished a 400. If you've ever ran a 400, you might know how that feels. So I was a little woozy. And as I'm kind of walking off the track, I see her walking on the track. And I was like, well, this is odd. Like, this is quite the coincidence. And then she walked straight up to me and she was like, I don't know why, but I just feel like I have to give you a hug. And she gave me a hug, and I was like, man, this manifestation stuff works real quickly. And we just had a quick embrace, and then that was that. And I spent the rest of the meet wandering around, hoping that I would run into her. And I saw her once at the medal stand, and we had a brief conversation. And then the only other time I saw her, she was with her mom, dad, grandma, and I was like, all right, that's not a time for me to intrude, so I'm gonna back off. And then we connected on social media, and we became really great friends. And then we started dating, into college.
That's incredible. I've never met your wife, but she seems like someone that would not shy away from just walking up to someone and introducing herself.
She is not shy in any sense of the word at all. Very outgoing, and yeah, I mean, she hasn't changed.
Yeah, you two put off such incredible energy. Even on social media when I watch it, in my circumstance with my health situations, I gravitate towards some positivity out there, and man, you guys put off great energy. I love it. But you seem to match each other's energy pretty well.
Sorry, are you ready?
Yeah, she's ready. Go get him, babe.
I don't know who you're talking to. You guys are like the exact same height right now.
What do you mean we, coach? It's just me here. There's only one of us here.
Hey, same exact stuff. I love the way you're running right now. Excellent.
I need my chiropractor. Sacrum. From liking where this is going. Okay, this is just that.
It needs to loosen up.
Come here often.
You look like a monkey from this angle.
Yeah, tight. Cool. I'm gonna hit you back. But good talking to you.
And then there's a lot of people who really only post the highlights on social media and try to make their life seem like it's something that it's not. So we try to have an even balance and really just share like what we're doing on the time. Like we never plan anything for social media. It's just whatever actually happens in our real life. So it's a really like genuine look into what we do every single day. And it's so good to hear that, because that's exactly why we do it. We just want to humanize ourselves as athletes and show that, no matter where you came from, what your background is, what you look like, what you do, like, I mean, it's really up to you to decide what you want out of life. And I just think, I don't know, for me growing up, like I didn't really have someone like that to look up to that was in a position similar to mine. And I think Tara the same. So I hope that we can be kind of those people for others and just show a real side of life. And what can happen. Like looking back when we started social media, there wasn't really a game plan. It was just like, this is fun. We enjoy this. And now like in retrospect, like understanding that there's people who have been with us through this whole entire journey and then saw us in Paris and like, we're part of that moment and like have seen everything it took to get to that point. It just makes me really happy inside to like, I don't know. It's just like proof that anything is possible. Like in the most unconventional or unbelievable circumstances, like dreams can come true. Like, it was just so cool.
So you meet up, start dating. You already said, it sounds like love at first sight for both of you, but when did you know that, okay, this is real. This is going to stick?
I mean, right away, like
really?
just like from the first time we hung out, we just had like the most fun. I just noticed like we'd always laugh together. We'd have fun together. Like our conversations were so easy to get going. And like I always have this rule with any relationship that I have, whether it's like friends, business, anything. And I'm like, if I spend time with somebody and I leave that space feeling drained, I know that that's not a person that I want to have in my life. And what I noticed with Tara is every time I hung out with Tara, I was around Tara, I talked to Tara, like when I would stop, I would leave feeling, refreshed and built up and energized. And I was like, that is what I want to keep in my life. So I think like that just kept ringing true. And to be honest, like we dated distance for 4 years and there was a lot of very, very difficult times. Like it's not easy to be in a distance relationship. It's not easy to be in a relationship at all.
No.
So there are difficult times that you go through, but we always would remind each other that like at the end of the day, there's more good times than there is bad. So as long as the positive is outweighing the negatives that you're dealing with, like it's a good situation. So I think that we both just kind of made the agreement that there's going to be difficult times like through our entire relationship. And, I think if at the core, like your goal is to keep improving and keep getting better and keep learning, like you can work through those things together.
Yeah.
And I think we just make a really good team, and athletically, like in every single way, like she makes me a better person. So, yeah, I think it's just like, I don't know, it just has always felt so natural and organic. And I've never had to wonder, like, is Tara the one? Like, I know.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. When you meet someone, you make a conscious decision. Am I going to have this person in my life?
Yeah.
Even though it's just a friend. And yeah, if they're bringing me any kind of negative energy, I'm just like, no, the world's got enough of that. I don't need it adjacent to me all the time.
Yeah, for sure. And you have a good idea of that. Every person is different, but you absolutely know when you spend time with certain people, like which people like you leave feeling, like built up, and which people you leave feeling torn down. And nothing personal against those people, but I think you need to set boundaries and surround yourself with good people that make you want to be a better person and make you want to, continue striving and getting better and having a good time, enjoying life, and, being present. So
that's fantastic. Let's take a short break and hear from our sponsor, Blueville Nursery.
For competitively priced landscape design, irrigation, and lawn maintenance, turn to Blueville Nursery, a family-owned business with more than 50 years of experience. You can trust the Blueville team to design and create a landscape that will accentuate your property's aesthetics. And visit our garden store 6 days a week for the best products in the area. From ornamental trees, shrubs, and flowers, Blueville has it all. Blueville Nursery, located on West Anderson Avenue in Manhattan, Kansas.
Now, let's return to the studio. So take me through your Paris experience. Your wife's got bragging rights on you for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
How did your events go down?
Yeah, it went really well. And actually, I competed at the end of the Paralympics. So there was almost exactly a month between the day that Tara won and the day that I won. So, I mean, the first few weeks was just everyone like reminding me that the pressure's on now and I better like go make it happen, or Tara will forever have the bragging rights. So there was a lot of that pressure, but it was kind of the same story as Tara of like, I know I've done all the right things this year. I've been so disciplined. I've been so locked in. I just watched Tara do it. We've done the exact same things. Like if she can do it, I can do it. I really believe that. And when I left the Olympics, the day that I got home, I was really sick. I was feeling under the weather, and I just figured, a bad jet lag. And then it kept getting worse. And I was like, all right, something's wrong. So I started doing tests to see what different sicknesses I could have. And turns out I had COVID. So I had a really bad case of COVID 13 days before I left for Paris for myself. And I was, bedridden for 5 days. And in the 400, it's a very like aerobic sprint event. So it relies a lot on your lungs. And that was a pretty difficult thing to overcome for me. But it was just like one of those things, like, I can't change this. So let's just try to make the best out of it. And I had a great team of people around me to help build me up. So by the time we got to Paris, there was a bit of uncertainty, just not having very consistent training leading up. But still, I had a lot of confidence and peace in the idea that, like, I'm going to give it my best shot, and I can't control what the guys in the other lanes do. I can just control what I do. and I'm just going to go out there and give him the best shot. So it was great. I think the day of the race, I just felt good. I felt at peace. I felt calm. And I just remember, like, in a race, I only see a few things, and most of the rest of it I'm kind of blacked out. But I remember a few pieces, and I remember coming off the final turn onto the home stretch, knowing I was in a good position, and really just saying, like, what I told myself all the time leading up to that is, like, it's going to come down to the last 100 meters. Let's see who wants it the most. And I really believed that I wanted it more than anybody else. And I just finished through, and I hadn't known I won until I crossed the line. Like, I was just waiting for someone to pass me or something. But yeah, it felt like a dream, honestly.
400 meters to gold. And the race for the medals in the 400 meters is underway. Woodhall of the United States in 6, Floors of Germany in 7. And Floors already making up the stagger, and Hunter Woodhall trying to get up to speed. Hunter Woodhall to the lead! Hunter Woodhall joins his wife as a gold medalist in Paris! What a perfectly executed race. They are celebrating. What a moment for this super couple as they both will celebrate golds.
I'm fascinated by that last 100 yards, as you mentioned, as someone who was never a runner. I was a good faller, not really a runner. Is that, you're trying to go as fast as possible, but is it possible to try too hard and your form breaks down and it actually hurts you?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the 400 is such a tactical event. And I mean, like, technically speaking, most of the fastest times ever in history, like the first 50 meters was very slow comparatively. So the 400 is actually, it's a tough event to figure out, but a lot of times, like, we're starting to figure out that if you can kind of control the first 2/3 of your race, then the end is, you experience a lot less what we call lactic acid, which is what like shuts you down. But if you go out really hard, which I've done plenty of times, and that last 100 meters comes and the lactic is building up, it's like, it feels like you're running in like quicksand, and it's just, you're slowly getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And it's like, you can try as hard as you want, but I've learned that if you actually try less hard, it actually helps you to finish the last 100 meters in that race. So
that's incredible. That's really cool. How much time did you spend in Paris?
I mean, total, we were there for probably 6 weeks. Yeah, we came back, actually spent time in Manhattan between the Olympics and Paralympics with Coach Travis. But other than that, yeah, we were in Paris. So we had a Parisian summer.
Yeah, that's crazy. All work, any play, any romance? You're in Paris, for God's sakes.
Yeah, I mean, me and Tara always make a habit out of experiencing the culture and where we're at. We were really blessed to have visited Paris a few times leading up to the games, just for promotion and other opportunities. So we had a really great relationship with Paris, but even then, like, we were going out to dinner and going to see stuff and just having a good time and trying not to take things too seriously and just enjoy ourselves. And that's, something we do all the time. And this sport has given us so much and taken us to so many places that, we want to make the most of it.
That's an incredible amount of travel for track and field athletes.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. Tell me about the K-State thing. It's going on at the same time, even for Coach Geffert, and you're trying to, get settled in here while you just got the Olympics going on in Paris. But that had to be an interesting situation, moving to the Midwest. I mean, whether it's Fayetteville or Austin, or those are bigger towns in Manhattan, Kansas. And what all went into this decision?
Honestly, Travis Geffert is one of the greatest human beings on this planet, and an even better coach. And we always knew that he was meant to be a head coach, and that he has the ability to create, national championship winning teams as a head coach. And he's done it so many times in the assistant position. So when this opportunity came up and he said, I have an opportunity to be a head coach. And he's like, would you guys be okay with this? Like, our answer was instantly yes. Like, wherever you're going, we're coming with you. We'll support you. And we want to see you be a head coach way more than we want to be living in Fayetteville. So it was really a pretty easy decision. And there's been a lot of learning curves adjusting to Manhattan. But, man, coach is just thriving. The team's doing great. And I think there's a lot of really positive things that are on the forefront on the way in these next few years.
What's it like training with your wife, who apparently has no off switch? Some of these videos of her just talking, it's amazing. But I also sense that that's not a distraction. That just, as you mentioned with the energy, it just kind of feeds into the training probably.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's great. I mean, it's like having the best accountability partner you could have, and then just being able to watch Tara train, like the just tenacity that she trains with, the like precision that she trains with. She's in such a technical event, and every single rep that she does it with a purpose. And I've learned a lot from her. And it's made me so much of a better athlete. And, it comes with its own challenges as well. I mean, there's times where I'm acting up in the morning and doing stupid stuff, and we got to take that to practice and deal with it. But oftentimes it allows us an opportunity to take our frustrations out in our workouts, and we usually run really well on those days. But again, like I said, like more positive than negative, and just being in such a competitive environment, like it can be challenging, but having someone else there who understands the commitment mentally and physically and can do it with you is like such a blessing.
Well, one of the superpowers that Tara Davis-Woodhall has is owning the stage. And with 70,000 people in this facility tonight, trying to channel that energy into her first attempt down the runway.
She did it. She did it, Bob. She's been talking about it all season. All season. Operated on such a high level today.
Oh my God, baby, you're the Olympic champion! Oh! Go see coach, go see your dad, go see your mom. Tara, you're the Olympic champion!
Really cool. I want to ask you about the Firefly. Where did this develop from? Shark Tank come about? Give me the background on this. It's a really interesting thing, and I actually want to try it, and I'll explain that in a second.
Yeah, Firefly is great. So it's a device that it connects to the perennial nerve. It's like a stim unit if you ever use it. It stimulates the muscle, but it connects to a nerve, so it doesn't fatigue your muscles at all. And then it uses your foot or your leg as a pump to continually circulate blood. And that can be while you're sitting down, walking, traveling, anything like that. It was initially developed actually for patients who underwent surgery and weren't able to walk. So maybe they got a foot surgery and weren't able to walk, so it was harder to recover. Well, they could throw a Firefly on. It wasn't called that at the time, but then they could be in a bed or at home or whatever and still be getting the same effect of walking around, moving, having blood pumping, and healing really quickly. But it just wasn't working as far as like the numbers and having, the amount of quantity they were trying to move in like the hospital sense. So they turned it into a consumer product. And me and Tara have been using Fireflies for years, just on our own, because it's a great product and it genuinely works. And it was used by MLB, NFL, NHL, like all these pro teams. College teams are starting to figure out that this is a really, really great product. And then we come to find out that one of the top executives there now it's a very small team, but one of the people working at the top is actually Tara's neighbor in California, like growing up. So we got back in contact with him, and it was just such a organic partnership because it's something that we already like use and love. And then we had the connection of kind of the team that's running it. So it just really made sense, and we wanted to be a part of it and bring it to as many people as we can, especially in the track space. I think all the other sports had kind of caught up to it, but track and field was lagging a little bit. So we just wanted to bring it to the track space.
And that seems like, I mean, I've never used it. I've never seen it used, but that seems like the space where it would help the most. It really does.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the biggest things is travel. Like when I travel internationally, like I'll take my prosthetics off to sleep or whatnot. And by the time I get off an international flight, like my legs have become so swollen, I can't even get back into my prosthetic. And if I throw a Firefly on, like while I'm flying, I have almost no swelling at all by the end of it. And a 8-hour flight feels like, a 2-hour, within the States flight. So it really is like super crazy. And everyone we talk to are like, it seems kind of unbelievable because it's such a small little device. But I mean, once you try, it's pretty easy to see the difference that it makes. It's pretty crazy.
Got to get me some Flutter going on
Yeah.
the way to Dublin.
Yeah, I'll send you a few to try out.
Well, I have circulation issues in my feet from anaphylactic shock 40 years ago. And I've always had icy feet. Since then. But since my prostatectomy, I've got nerve damage. I had neuropathy, which is common with cancer.
Yeah.
But mostly in my feet, it's still I get my own version of the flutter where my nerves start firing and my feet are just kind of going. So I just want to see if it would help. And
we'll get some sent out to you. I'd love for you to try it out and let me know what you think. I really think it'd help you out.
Yeah, because I'm a world class something, but not athlete. I'm not sure what that would be. This is it's amazing the number of athletes that are. Once I looked at Firefly, by the way, whoever's doing your marketing has the algorithm dialed in pretty well because I see it every day now. Yeah. Every day that ad gets served to me.
Yeah. Once you try the product, you'll be like, all right, I get it.
Yeah. But there's just so many athletes who show that their use of it, whether it's in a store or a flight or just walking around. It's such an easy device, and it's so intuitive that this is just like STEM when I use that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's super simple. And again, STEM is a really great use case, but like I can wear a pair of Fireflies whole time on an 8-12 hour flight. Like I can't wear a STEM device for 12 hours because by the end of it, I'm going to be the muscles are going to be so fatigued from firing, where this is like a nerve. It's like when you go to the doctor and he hits under your knee with a little hammer and it kicks your leg up, right? It doesn't take any bit of, effort to do that. Your nerve is just like doing it itself. So it really takes the hard work out of it. Listen, I'm excited to get you some and see what you think, what your genuine reaction is.
Yep. I really do want to try them. What's next for the Woodhalls? What is up with you guys' travel schedule? And I imagine you're doing some competing here in the summer.
Yeah, we've just been training really hard right now. We're in a pretty intense training block. And actually on Saturday, we're headed back to Europe for a few competitions. So we'll compete in Norway, and then we'll compete in Sweden, and then we'll spend some time in the south of France at an event, and then head back home, and then we compete in Eugene on July 5th. So that's kind of our next competition block, and then it's time to get ready for USA's national championships and then world championships.
It's crazy. Not a bad travel schedule, by the way.
No, it's
a little Norway and Sweden in the summertime.
Yeah,
South France
could be worse.
Yep, it's there's so much travel and expense. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's an expensive hobby for sure.
I don't think it's really a hobby. I think you're born to do it.
Yeah.
I appreciate your time, and I tell you what. Again, I want to emphasize this. Thank you for being part of the Kansas State community, the Manhattan community, the Wamego community, because the energy you bring is noticeable, and people talk about it.
Appreciate it, man. This community has just brought us in with so much grace, and everyone's been so kind, and it's just that Midwest hospitality has been really incredible. So we can't thank the people here in this area and this community so much. And even when we travel, like, man, there's something about K-State alums. Like, I know a lot of alums from a lot of schools, but there's something about K-State alums. Like, they love Kansas State. So it's cool.
You know, it's a university that a lot of universities are what they are, and the students go to it and kind of become that culture.
Yeah.
Kansas State is truly a Kansas culture. So
Yeah.
you've got these people coming from ag backgrounds out west, or, you know, urban backgrounds out east with Kansas City. And it's kind of a nice meshing of both of those cultures. And when you come out of it, you feel like you're just part of the school forever.
Yeah. We're grateful that we feel like we've been adopted in a way. So we're excited about it.
Well, I hope you're around for a long time. I hope you have great success this summer, and welcome to Kansas State. Welcome to our community. And I appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate it, man. Great talking with you.
That's a pretty cool dude. That's a guy that knows that he's earned everything in his life. He went through a really rough start and found his, footing, and has succeeded in life. Married the love of his life. It's truly a story of love at first sight, and both of them felt it. It's a pretty cool story. Their social media is awesome. And I am going to try the Firefly. Hook it up to me and see if it does help with some neuropathy and some blood flow and all that good stuff. Maybe I'll hook it up to my head, see if I can get some better activity up there. It's an interesting choice. Got another one of these planned for next week when I rekindle an old friendship that went dormant for 40 years or so. That's on the next Life of Fitz. And of course, gentlemen, I got to remind you as we head out the door, if you haven't had your PSA scored and you're 45 years or older, go do it. Tell your doctor, I want this blood test. It's easy. It's a blood test. It's the easiest, most simple, most profound way we have to catch prostate cancer in its early stages. Catch it early, you win. If you don't, as I know, prostate cancer typically wins. But I just turned 61. And guess what? I'm still here, even though they said I wouldn't make it to 60. And I'm going to keep doing these podcasts as long as I can. Thanks for listening, everybody. I'll talk to you real soon. I appreciate you listening to this week's edition of Life of Fitz. And thank you to all the great people at Blueville Nursery for sponsoring our show. This has been a Spirit Street production.